In Seattle, in a sea of containers, sits one particular container, containing boxes of miniatures for Dust, 1947, a tactical miniature game involving zombies, aliens, and World War II. This container, destined for Georgia, was originally ordered at the end of 2020, but as of September 2021, still hasn't arrived at the Dust USA warehouse. Typically, a container from China to the Georgia warehouse takes 5 to 6 weeks at most. The delayed shipping time has added stress to the gamers, the company, and the owner. Gregoire Babalou, co-owner of Dust USA, fears for his company, so my container is sitting somewhere in a pile of containers. It's so problematic that we're probably going to close by the end of the year. Meanwhile, Ascension Tactics, a deck-building miniature game, successfully runs a Kickstarter campaign from July to August 2020, raising $478,000 on a goal of $150,000. They originally planned to have products delivered by August 2021 with a shipping budget of $123,000. In October of 2021, Stoneblade Entertainment, the publisher and creator, posted an update on their Kickstarter that deliveries are to be expected around December 2021, but with a far different shipping expense than originally expected. The shipping cost was now $302,000, an increase of 245%. Ascension Tactics isn't the only game on Kickstarter, or in general, that have seen delays. Publishers large and small on the platform have experienced significant impacts to their delivery times, budgets, and projects. So, what are causing these delays, and how is this affecting publishers, games, stores, and gamers? To begin, what are causing these delays? The simple answer is COVID-19. The pandemic has played havoc with every aspect of our lives, but that is only the piece of Jenga that caused the tower to collapse. And much like a janky Jenga tower leaning sideways, it's not the piece you remove that is the sole cause of the collapse, but the overall structure. It's not a secret that a large majority of gaming companies manufacture in China. This could be due to costs, the ease of obtaining product, or the plastic miniatures that everyone uses in their games. No matter how you slice it, a lot of game publishers, especially those on Kickstarter, use China as its manufacturing hub. This means in order to get product from China to the US, shipping must be involved. Which brings us to the beautiful cities of Los Angeles and Long Beach. Here, two of the busiest ports in America are located. The two ports together handle more than a third of US container imports. Typically, these ports are more than capable of keeping up with the demand, with ships hardly ever backing up. However, due to the increased demand of physical goods combined with the health and safety restrictions that are in place, the ports are experiencing delays. Where before the pandemic, one ship may wait a day or two, now 30 to 40 ships are anchored offshore for 10 to 12 days at a time. With these backups and increased demand, port workers are working at a breakneck speed. Typically, they have 10 to 20 ships at berth. However, in 2021, they have closer to 30 to 40 ships at berth, their primary focus being on unloading the vessels and getting them out quickly to bring the next ship in. This worker crunch combined with the lack of goods to be exported has led to a shipping container imbalance of 40%. What this means is that for every 1,000 containers brought into the US, only 400 leave. This is staggering when you consider that per month, 900,000 20-foot containers are brought into the US from Asia. This capacity strain and import-export imbalance has caused a regional shortage in shipping containers in Asia. You would think that this means there is an excess in empty containers sitting around, but in actuality, there isn't, and there's a reason for that. The global supply of total containers decreased in 2020 as the total number of containers scrapped outpaced the containers produced. During the initial lockdowns that happened, companies needed ways to have capital and stay afloat, so they scrapped containers. Along with the global container fleet shrinking, there is the issue of getting the empty containers back to the ports from their destinations. This is due to there being a retention and hiring problem with long-haul truckers in the US. With all of this stated, it starts to become clear that there is a negative feedback loop that is developed. Shipping delays are not the only problem that has surfaced due to this feedback loop. As scarcity of shipping containers increase, the price for shipping containers has increased as well. To get a better idea of how price increases can affect games, we can look at a case sample provided by Jamie Stegmaier, owner of Stoneblade Games, publishers of Wingspan and Scythe. Jamie wrote a blog post in June of 2021 explaining that before the pandemic, a 40-foot container would cost around $5,000. In June, he was seeing prices at $15,000 per container. But how does this price adjustment look on a game level? Lucky for us, Jamie did a full dive into it using Wingspan as an example. Typically, a 40-foot container can hold 5,292 units of Wingspan. Before the pandemic, this comes out to a little under $1 of shipping cost per unit. With current prices, the shipping comes out to be $3 per unit. Stone Mayer sells Wingspan to distributors for $24, which in turn sell it to your local game store for varying amounts, and the LGSs are given an MSRP of $60. Stone Mayer's profits come from that first $24 sale. Jamie says that it cost around $12 to make Wingspan pre-pandemic, leaving Stone Mayer with $11 in profit per unit. With current shipping prices, it costs $15 to make, leaving profits at $9 per unit. $2 in profit margin may not seem like a lot, but considering Wingspan sold over 400,000 copies in 2020 alone, it's easy to see how small changes can have large effects. Fortunately, Jamie did go on to say that the decrease in margins will not result in an increase in MSRP. However, not all publishers can say the same thing. Greater Than Games, publishers of Spirit Island, have already raised the retail price of Spirit Island by $10 per copy. With all of this in mind, ultimately, we wanted to know what gamers like you have experienced so far. We reached out on BoardGameGeek, Reddit, Facebook, and Twitter to get people's thoughts, and most people have experienced many of their backed Kickstarters being delayed or canceled. However, for the most part, their experiences at local game stores have remained the same, with products still being in stock and prices still remaining the same, with a few exceptions. This makes sense to some degree. The supply chain is exactly that, a chain. And when you move the chain and create a wave, it takes time for the wave to reach the end. Unfortunately, with Kickstarters, the chain is so much shorter. So as we move into the 2021 holiday season, be aware and be patient. And if you haven't started holiday shopping for that special person yet, now would be the perfect time to start to make sure your orders get in on time.